In all Southeast Asian countries, almost all adaptation, mitigation, and resilience focused institutional and policy measures set in place to address climate change and environment related issues are emphatically socio-economic and environmental in nature, as they are the most tangible impacts experienced by the people. Meanwhile, experts in other regions of the world are increasingly pointing to the urgency of addressing psychological impact of climate change and environmental issues on affected populations. Eco-anxiety is a psychological condition that is found to be common among communities and individuals who are emotionally affected by the environmental crisis and conditions in their midst.
So eco-anxiety is when you experience feelings of grief, despair, anger, depression, sadness from the changing environment around you. So it could be anything from, say, experiencing forest fires, to experiencing a flood, to experiencing a lack of action being taken by governments or private sector, whatever it is. As a young youth leader, you might experience some of these feelings.
Unfortunately, there's a large lack of awareness, which starts at anxiety and which ends at eco-anxiety. I would not expect, but I would not be surprised if the challenges alongside the Mekong countries and communities, that they are very, very much shared. Also, if I were to juxtapose this with rivers in the world which have similar problems, for example, a lot of dam construction upside, a lot of silting and so on, we can also see that communities transboundaries share the same problems, and often that then if you find common solutions that they have more potential. Absolutely feel as if a couple of the environmental challenges, particularly those emanating from the construction of dams and the availability of water, that it will impact among a number of communities in all of the Mekong countries.
In majority youth population Mekong River countries such as Cambodia, Myanmar and Vietnam, there is an urgent need to address eco-anxiety among youth populations affected by consequences of climate change and other environmental issues. In consultations held in Cambodia, in both urban and rural settings, most youth participants revealed that they experienced one or more feelings of anger, frustration, or worry related to the changing environmental conditions in their communities and country. Equipping environmental youth leaders to transform eco-anxiety into eco-community is an effort that will bring together selected youth leaders from Cambodia, Myanmar and Vietnam to participate in a 7-day holistic program which will empower them to lead stronger climate action in their communities and countries while reconnecting with nature.
So our project is primarily focused on youth leadership, so equipping young environmental leaders with the skills and knowledge to understand and address eco-anxiety. At the same time, equip them with skills and tools on project management, government engagement, budget, so hard skills that they could use within their communities. They would attend a training program like ours with other students from across different Mekong countries. And they then come up with a training that they want to provide to their communities within their respective countries, but it has to incorporate nature. I think our program leverages the best of other programs. There's a lot of programs in the region focused on youth leadership, focused on connection, but we haven't come across any programs that address eco-anxiety itself. And I think, psychosocial support or psychological well-being is sometimes an afterthought as opposed to being the first thing we would address and the first thing we should equip. Because if we've got a sound mental well-being, then perhaps we would be in a better position to be more empowered, more motivated, have better leadership skills, and be in a better position to build the resilience that we need, knowing that events in this region is going to get worse.
And I think we agree.
As Cambodia, Myanmar and Vietnam governments step up efforts to involve youth in addressing climate change and environment-related problems, positioning empowered youth leaders in the frontiers of environment protection measures is critical than ever before.
That has been done.
The EEYL's 7-day EcoCharge training program and subsequent activity implementation phase have been designed to build understanding and trust between youth from these 3 Mekong River countries who are competing for shared resources of the Mekong River.
The reason we have picked youth is because they are the ones that are most interested and most affected from this particular topic. They are the ones who are driving climate action. They are the ones that are most passionate and most interested and most motivated in their communities to drive resilience. And so I think it is a perfect opportunity to do 2 things here, and that is to build a better generation, but also to drive better resilience in our communities and give them a voice. I think that's the most important thing, actually, to give them a voice.
This awareness that you will be creating is the foundation on which capacity is built. I could imagine there's a very, very urgent need for it. By inference from the situation from other countries, I'm aware of a study in which more than 45% of youths in 10 countries mentioned how eco-anxiety is impacting them on a daily basis, so to speak. And I can very much imagine that the numbers here are equal, if not higher, because the effects that youth experience along the Mekong over here are much more drastic, maybe, than in other countries.
I think we should have the initiative that brings people who are interested in the eco-anxiety or environmental related issue to connect with nature, so that they can think about the importance of being surrounded by nature. They can have a practical experience. They can learn from each other. They listen. They not only just being in place indoor and sit down and just listen to what have been touched, but they also can engage themselves in the program, and they can later on inspire other young people that find the topic very interesting. And it is like it's like what we say, a ripple effect, from one person to another one person, and it's getting larger and larger.